Can you believe there is a country in Europe where you can walk through the heart of its capital for an entire hour and barely see another person? More than half of Estonia is covered by forests, and the country has more than 2,000 islands, many of which have no permanent residents. And yet, Estonia is one of the most advanced digital nations in the world. Its people can vote online, complete nearly every government procedure through the internet, and establish a company in just a few minutes. What allowed this small, quiet, and sparsely populated country to create such a remarkable digital revolution? Let's discover Estonia right now. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments what makes you most curious about this small nation on the Baltic Sea. Number 15. Estonia. One of Europe's most sparsely populated and quietest countries. This is Estonia, a small country on the eastern edge of the Baltic Sea, with a population of approximately 1,310,000 people in 2025, and that number is still declining. Its population density is only about 31 people per square kilometer, placing it among the lowest in the European Union. To put that into perspective, the same area in England would contain around 280 people, while the Netherlands would have more than 520. This makes Estonia between 9 and 17 times less densely populated than many other parts of Europe. More than half of the country, approximately 51.5%, is covered by forests, and much of this land is protected by law. Estonia also has more than 2,000 islands, many of which have no permanent residents. After 8 o'clock in the evening, many streets become so quiet that you can walk through the capital for an entire hour and barely see another person. Yet this emptiness does not mean the country is dangerous. Estonia regularly ranks among the safest nations in Europe and places highly on the Global Peace Index. The Baltic climate makes the silence feel even more noticeable. Summer temperatures rarely rise above 17 degrees Celsius, while winter temperatures can fall to -10 degrees Celsius. This is a cold, heavily forested country, quiet, private, and peaceful. Number 14. Estonian women and the remarkable life expectancy gap. Within this small population, Estonia has a clear gender imbalance. For every 100 women, there are only about 91 men. Estonian women are not only greater in number, they also live longer. In 2023, the average life expectancy for women reached approximately 83 years, while men lived to nearly 75. This 8-year gap is among the largest in Europe and reflects several long-term problems rooted in the past. Demographers believe that alcohol consumption, physically demanding work, and harsh living conditions once had a major impact on men across the Baltic region under the former Soviet Union. Estonia still carries the effects of that history today. Behind these figures are many older families, held together by women who have outlived their husbands. They not only maintain the rhythm of family life, but also help shape the country's image. On international runways, Estonia is known for tall models with light-colored hair and distinctly Northern European features. Carmen Cass worked with Vogue and Chanel, while Tiiu Kuik and Carmen Pedaru continued to bring Estonia's name into the international fashion industry. In everyday life, Estonians are often reserved and may seem distant to strangers at first. This is not rudeness. They simply value personal space, and their warmth begins to show once they truly trust you. Number 13. Kihnu, the island where women preserve an entire culture. What is most surprising about Estonians is not how they look, but what they do not believe. That story will come up again later, because it is one of the country's greatest paradoxes. Off the western coast, in the Gulf of Riga, there is a small island called Kihnu, with about 600 residents. For generations, the men often left the island for months at a time to fish and hunt seals, while the women stayed behind to maintain the farms, the families, and the cultural life of the community.
From songs and dances to handicrafts and ancient rituals, everything was passed down through their hands. Because of this, UNESCO recognized the Kihnu cultural space as a living heritage of humanity. During traditional weddings, which last 3 days, the bride is taken from her home to the groom's home, and the dowry is opened in front of everyone, revealing hundreds of handmade items such as socks, gloves, and woven belts. A wedding can attract 200 to 300 guests and may take place between the mainland and the island. The bright striped wool skirts, the unique symbols, and the ancient runo singing style show that this tradition dates back to the time before Christianity. Kihnu is often described as a matriarchal society, but a more accurate term would be a matrifocal community, where women preserve the culture while men still remain an essential part of it.
Number 12. Silence and winter darkness in Estonia. The sense of isolation in Estonia does not come from emotion alone. It also begins with how the population is distributed. The average population density is only about 31 people per square kilometer, while nearly 1/3 of the population is concentrated in Tallinn. This makes the rest of the country feel even more sparsely populated. Beyond the capital, you can drive or walk for a long time without seeing another person. That distance is also reflected in the culture. Estonians usually protect their personal space in public and rarely start conversations with strangers. People even joke that if you hold a door open for an Estonian, they may ask whether you think they cannot open it themselves. Then winter arrives, making that feeling even stronger. Tallinn lies near 59 degrees north latitude, and on the shortest day of the year, the city receives only about 5 hours and 42 minutes of daylight. At noon, the sun rises only slightly above the horizon. Many people leave for work while it is still dark and return home after night has already fallen. Even so, emptiness does not necessarily mean sadness. For anyone exhausted by crowded and noisy cities, Estonia can feel like a refuge. Private, safe, peaceful, and warm once you are truly welcomed. That is Estonia's own distinctive kind of peace.
Number 11. Smoke saunas and Estonia's unusual marathon. In the darkness of heated wooden rooms in Võrumaa, southern Estonia, local people continue an ancient UNESCO-recognized tradition, the smoke sauna. With no chimney, smoke from burning firewood spreads throughout the room, sinks into the dark wooden walls, and remains there for hours. A proper sauna session usually lasts at least 3 hours. For Estonians, this is not simply a place where the body sweats. The sauna is also a social space where people speak honestly, resolve disagreements, and slow down together. They gently strike their skin with bundles of birch branches to stimulate blood circulation, then plunge into cold water for a shock that awakens the entire body. What makes this tradition even more remarkable is its spiritual meaning. In a country where many churches stand nearly empty, the dark, intensely heated wooden room is regarded as a place close to the sacred. Every February, the town of Otepää hosts the European Sauna Marathon. Teams of 4 must visit as many saunas as possible within 5 hours, and they can even earn extra points by jumping into an ice hole. Smoke saunas are also used to smoke meat, helping people preserve food throughout the winter. It is a place where heat connects the community with ancient memories. This journey becomes more meaningful when you have someone to share it with. Subscribe to the channel and join us as we discover new places, meet remarkable people, and explore stories that are often overlooked. Our journey still has many fascinating discoveries ahead.
Number 10. Kiiking and wife carrying. 2 unusual Estonian sports. From sauna whisks, Estonians show how they can turn tradition into a challenge of their own. The craft of making birch leaf whisks is learned through observation and passed down through generations without written instructions. Outside the sauna, they continue this spirit of invention with Kiiking, a sport created by Ado Kosk in 1993. The participant secures their feet to a steel swing and attempts to complete a full 360-degree rotation over the top bar. The longer the swing arms are, the more difficult the challenge becomes, and the person who completes a rotation on the longest swing wins. Kiiking originated from wooden village swings, where people gathered, sang, and pushed one another during midsummer celebrations. Another unusual challenge is wife carrying, which includes a technique known as the Estonian carry. The wife hangs upside down on her husband's back, with her legs locked around his neck and her arms wrapped around his waist, allowing him to run freely. Estonia won the World Championship for 11 consecutive years, from 1998 to 2008, and set a record in 2000 with a time of 55.5 seconds. In 2022, Guinness World Records recognized Sven Sarper for completing a rotation on a Kiiking swing with arms measuring 7.43 meters. These two sports show how Estonians can transform a simple swing or carrying game into a challenge that few other countries would dare to attempt. Number 9. Estonia, a country with little religion, but no shortage of faith. The most striking figure about Estonia appeared in the 2021 census, when 58% of the population said they did not belong to any religion, up from 54% a decade earlier. Only about 14% considered religion an important part of daily life. Among ethnic Estonians, the share of people with no religious affiliation reached as high as 71%. This does not mean that everyone is a committed atheist. For most people, the question of God simply no longer holds a central place in their lives. The paradox is that Estonia places great trust in data, technology, and digital systems, while many churches are becoming increasingly empty. Part of the reason comes from 50 years of Soviet rule, which promoted atheism and weakened the connection between society and the church. Deeper roots can also be found in the way Estonia built its national identity during the 19th century, relying more on language and songs than on religion. Today, Orthodox Christianity accounts for about 16% of the population, while Lutheranism represents around 8%. For many Estonians, the sacred is not found inside a church tower. It exists in the forests, ancient trees, the heat of the sauna, and the flames of ancient midsummer celebrations.
Number 8. The Singing Revolution. When music helped Estonia regain its freedom. As churches lost their central place in society, Estonians found unity through song. In 1988, hundreds of thousands of people gathered at the Tallinn Song Festival grounds and sang for days and nights, including national songs that had once been banned. There were no weapons, only voices rising together. This peaceful movement, known as the Singing Revolution, helped Estonia break free from Soviet control. In 1991, the country restored its independence. The power of music did not appear overnight, because the National Song Festival, known as Laulupidu, had been held since 1869. UNESCO has also recognized this festival as part of the shared living cultural heritage of the Baltic nations. Every 5 years, tens of thousands of singers stand together on one stage, turning choral music into a symbol of national unity. When summer arrives, Estonians celebrate Jaanipäev from the night of June 23rd until the morning of June 24th. People light enormous bonfires, jump over the flames for good luck, ride village swings, and stay awake through a night that never becomes completely dark. This tradition began before Christianity and is connected more closely to forests and fire than to the Bible. For a people whose homeland has been invaded many times, singing and midsummer fires became a way to preserve their language, memories, and identity. Number 7. Estonia, online voting, and running a company remotely. From national unity, Estonia took another step forward by transforming its entire government into a digital system. The country became the first in the world to introduce legally recognized online voting. The program began in 2005, and by 2023, more than half of all voters had cast their ballots over the internet. Estonia also created e-residency, which allows foreigners to establish and operate a company within the European Union entirely online. More than 117,000 people from 185 countries have joined the program. Since 2000, digital documents have become the standard across the government. Internet access is treated almost like a basic right. Free Wi-Fi is widely available, and children begin learning computer programming at the age of 7. Estonia achieved this partly because it is a small country and had to rebuild its systems after 1991, when many older structures no longer existed. Today, around 99% of public services can be completed online. 98% of prescriptions are issued electronically, and nearly the entire population uses a digital identity card. Digital signatures alone are estimated to save the equivalent of about 2% of the national economy each year. Estonia also commits a fixed 1% of its gross domestic product to technology, regardless of which government is in power.
Number 6. The flavors of Estonia. When food preserves a nation's memories. In a country strongly focused on technology, Estonia's spirit still lives in simple foods that have survived for centuries. First comes leib, a dark, dense rye bread served with most savory meals. It is so deeply connected to national identity that a wish for good fortune is sometimes expressed as a wish for good bread. From this bread, Estonians make leiva soup, a sweetbread soup prepared with apples or fruit juice, flavored with cinnamon and sour cream, and served as a dessert. For many Western visitors, the idea of bread soup may sound unusual. In Estonia, however, it carries the taste of warmth and familiarity. Another traditional food is kama, a flour mixture made from roasted barley, oats, peas, and rye. It is usually stirred into yogurt or buttermilk until it becomes something between a drink and a light meal. Then there is kohuke, a sweet curd cheese bar coated in chocolate, sold in almost every store, and easy to keep eating. Estonians also enjoy kefir, thick fresh cheese, and Nordic-style pastries. These foods developed through long winters and short growing seasons. They are simple, easy to preserve, warming for the body, and capable of carrying the memories of an entire nation in every bite.
Number 5. Estonia, a small country with a borderless digital community. Despite its small population, Estonia holds a major advantage in the digital age. While many countries still depend on physical borders and paperwork, Estonia uses technology to reduce the importance of geographic distance. Through e-residency, Estonia became the first country to provide digital identification to foreign citizens. It is not a passport or a residence permit. Instead, it is a tool that allows someone anywhere in the world to access the European Union's business system. Imagine sitting in a cafe in Vietnam while still being able to register a company, sign contracts, file taxes, and manage operations remotely. Every procedure takes place online, with no queues and no paper documents. In this way, Estonia has transformed its government into a digital platform that operates beyond its physical territory. Its actual population may be small and declining, but its community of e-residents continues to expand across many countries. Each new member can bring businesses and international connections without ever moving to Estonia. This is the paradox behind the country's strength. Its territory remains unchanged, while its influence can continue growing every day. Estonia is not simply exporting technology. It is testing how a country can exist and develop in the digital world.
Number 4. Tallinn, where delivery robots move through the old town. If you think autonomous robots still belong only in science fiction, come to Tallinn. Here, technology is not hidden behind laboratory doors. It moves along the sidewalks and has become a familiar part of the city. The most visible example is Starship, a fleet of 6-wheeled delivery robots developed in Estonia. They travel through the old streets, read digital maps, detect obstacles, avoid pedestrians, and find the correct address on their own. When you order a meal, there is no loud engine approaching. Instead, you hear only the soft sound of small wheels drawing closer. You open the app, tap the screen, and the robot's lid unlocks so you can collect your food. What stands out is not only the technology, but also the way local people treat it as a normal part of daily life. An elderly person walking with a grandchild, a student rushing to class, and a delivery robot can all share the same sidewalk without anyone finding it unusual. That image captures Estonia clearly. Streets shaped by hundreds of years of history still make room for new technology. The past and the future do not compete. They quietly exist beside each other in the rhythm of everyday life. In this setting, Estonia shows that new technology can grow alongside history without destroying it. Number 3. Estonia's sacred forests. When nature becomes faith. In a country known for technology and a largely non-religious way of life, Estonians still preserve a very ancient belief. Many people do not pray in churches, yet they show deep respect for forests and old trees. To them, trees are not merely natural resources. They possess spirit, carry memory, and represent a power that existed long before Christianity reached the Baltic region. The forest, therefore, is seen as a living space, where people can restore their balance and regain a sense of protection. Amid a daily world shaped by data, robots, and digital services, Estonians still leave the cities to walk through the woods, listen to the leaves, breathe the cold air, and allow their minds to slow down. It is also where they find silence and renewal. They do not need a complex ritual to experience something sacred. Simply standing among the trees, surrounded by a deep enough silence, can make them feel connected to something greater than themselves. This is the paradox that makes Estonia so distinctive. Technology moves the country forward, while the forests keep its people connected to the past. The future may be built with computer code, but Estonia's identity is still nourished by roots buried deep beneath the earth. Number 2. Lake Kaali, an ancient sacred site in the Estonian forest. Crossing the ancient forests of Saaremaa Island, you will reach Kaali, one of Estonia's most unusual meteorite craters. More than 3,000 years ago, a blazing meteorite struck the ground, creating a deep circular basin in the forest, and leaving marks that remain visible today. For ancient pagan tribes, this was more than an event from the sky. They believed it was a place where the gods touched the earth, and the moment when the sun fell into the human world. Because of this, Kaali gradually became a sacred site. Stone walls were built around the crater, while sacrificial rituals once took place beside the still water at the bottom. Today, Lake Kaali lies as quiet as a mirror, reflecting the sky and the surrounding trees. It is also one of the most accessible meteorite craters in the world, allowing visitors to stand very close to a mark once left on Earth by the universe. Standing beside the lake, listening to the wind moving through the forest and watching water so calm that it appears almost motionless, it is easy to sense the delicate boundary between science and mythology. Within modern Estonia, Kaali feels like an ancient pause, a place where the universe, memory, and belief once met on the same ground, creating a mysterious stop along the journey through Estonia. Number 1. Helkur, the small light that protects Estonians during winter nights. When winter covers Estonia, Darkness arrives very early. By around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, daylight has almost disappeared, leaving behind icy roads, strong winds, and sometimes heavy snow that reduces visibility. In the darkness, small points of light can often be seen moving along the sidewalks. These are Helkur, reflective tags that pedestrians must attach to their clothing, handbags, or backpacks when walking outside in low-light conditions. This is not a decorative accessory. It is a safety requirement established by law. People who forget to carry one may be warned or fined by the police. The rule may sound strict, but it reflects the reality of northern European winters. When snow is falling, fog is thick, or the streets are almost completely dark, drivers may struggle to see a pedestrian ahead. A small reflector allows them to notice someone from a much greater distance and gives them more time to slow down. For Estonians, protecting the community does not always begin with complex technology. Sometimes, a small object used correctly can save a life. During the long Baltic winter nights, these tiny lights become quiet symbols of discipline, responsibility, and care for one another. From a distance, Estonia may seem like nothing more than a small country on the Baltic Sea. But when you look more closely, it tells a much larger story. The story of a people who faced the risk of losing their identity many times, yet still protected their language, culture, and right to determine their own future. Among its quiet forests, Estonia continues moving forward through technology, careful preparation, and a strong spirit of independence. If you had the chance to visit, what would make you most curious? Share your thoughts in the comments, like the video, and subscribe to the channel as we continue exploring other remarkable countries around the world.